Is there some sort of conclusion to the inquiry? I mean, you want someone who has no boundaries to answer. Is it an inquirer? Who is inquiring? You see, if the inquiry is ongoing, there's still an inquirer. But you see, there's a very subtle difference between the inquirer and the observer. The inquiring and the observing are also different. The inquiring means there has to be some sort of outcome, some sort of, experience. The observing means just looking. So the inquirer has to be the mind, but the observer can be the mind mocking or mimicking the true observer. It's very subtle, That's why they say the dark night of the soul, on the razor edge. This way, death. Or this way, ego. This way, temporary. This way, human. This way, soul, spirit, God. No one wants to stay on the edge, on the razor edge, you see. It's getting a bit uncomfortable, Who sharpened this blade? I have to go this way or that way. So that subtle difference between the observer and the inquirer is a kind of trick by the mind. The mind knows it's the inquirer. The mind thinks it can become the observer. And it actually believes. So when you believe that you are the observer, you are the eyes, you are the human, you are the one, the perceiver, your mind it's your mind. You are the mind. You're also speaking from the body, so you assume that you're also the body. Now the body plays no part in this game. The body just appears, through its nutrients through the earth. The body is a reproduction of the earth. Water, earth, food, acids, all the substances that the scientists or the biologists have found about the earth is in your body. So the body is just, going through a process, same as the field. When the farmer ploughs it and it's all beautiful and brown, and then suddenly weeds and crops and all these things arise from it, and then if it's not harvested or tended, then it dies in winter. So if the inquiry is going on, if there's still an inquirer, you see, and the inquiry, let's be honest, the inquiry cannot finish. The mind cannot finish. It's just that when it deletes 95% of its hard drive, when the body passes, it's a much more easier transition. That 5% just life judgment. Don't have to go through all these heavenly hell. Why did you do this? What's this? Going into the light, coming out of the light, choosing between the dark and the light. All that stuff that the NDEs come back and tell you. And when they come back, they say, I have to be much better. I have to be much more cleaner. I have to be much more one with the the universe. I have to be one with God, one with Christ, one with Krishna, whatever your religion. You become one effortlessly. So, can the observe? Does the inquiry end? Well, the observing certainly cannot end. But there's no judge, no measurer, no evaluator, no assumer, no logical, no illogical, no contradictory, no what's the opposite of contradictory? I don't know. There's just an observer. So you're like the tree observing, you see? I was in a newly planted forest this morning. Farmers had planted some trees 2-3 years ago, and they're beginning to, grow out of that plastic form thing. And it's amazing, you see, they grow if they're too close to another tree. And the tree is an earlier tree, and it starts, flowering in a circle. It actually grows like this to see the light. So does the tree have a mind to say, I must go this way because I'll get more light, like the humans do on a beach? If I sit this way, the sun will come round and I will get tanned on this side or this side or that side. Or is it just natural, the sun, like that magnet, that gravitational pull? You've no choice, tree. You'll do what I say. It's very like human life. We think we have a choice. But when death comes, did you choose that moment, that exact second, that time, that hour, that day? Even though you knew you were terminally ill, did you choose it? No, of course you didn't, because you have no choices. But the observing still goes through this. The observing there is an observing when the body passes. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't hold on to its name, its history, its knowledge, its understanding, its educational wisdom. Something that we call consciousness, that we are, profoundly, truly, primarily, simply does not go on. It doesn't stop. It doesn't start. It doesn't change. It just is. So I can't I cannot answer this inquiry ending question, because the inquirer is the mind. The observer can also be the mind pretending to be that what we are truly here as. The self-inquiry. It has to go on until you find something that stops you. Not you choosing to stop. Oh, I have another passage to go. No. That is the enquiring. I have another chapter. I know. And then something stops you. Eckhart Tolle calls it that shock. Oh, I think U.G. Krishnamurti also calls it that shock. In the front of the mirror. Finished. End of enquiry. But the observing continues to go on, because the inquiry at the end does not say, here it is, look, God, over there, that's him, that's the boy. It's so traumatic. It takes years to even understand one moment, one glimpse of that, what we truly are. So, if there's an inquiry going on, which there may well be, even for myself, it is little matrix strands of personal I that cannot shake themselves off of, are not willing to shake themselves off And so be it. You know, life's not a trudge. It's not a turmoil when you see life in a completeness. Yes, what is, I mean, death. What can be frightened of death? Most say we're frightened of the dying process. Yeah. Some are frightened of their first orgasm. Some are frightened of their first haircut. Some are frightened of the first nasal hair to be pulled by the Turkish barber, you know. Some are frightened of their first kiss with a girlfriend. And then when it's done, I want to continue with this kiss. You can pull as much nasal hair as you like. So is death going to be loved? You won't know because there's no I. There's no I, enquirer, going to be there. But the observer cannot not be there because the observer is death, the observer is life, the observer is birth, the observer is infinite wisdom, pure, tranquil consciousness. The observer truly is. So you can observe an inquiry that you or observe something that appears to be still inquiring with no judgment, and it's causing the observer no harm because the observer is nothing, empty, self. The observing is the most important. Living is much more important than the liver and the lived as. We are infinitely living. That's our name. There's no end, no beginning. I don't know if that was the inquirer. It certainly wasn't the observer, because the observer can't talk, can't debate, can't, just is pure, is here, is now, is awareness, is beyond I, beyond consciousness, beyond and beyond and beyond, ongoing. So can you inquire yourself going on, or can you just observe yourself going on and on? Very subtle. And even the most profound, the most enlightened cannot exactify it. That's beautiful. That's blissful. If you exactify it, if you find 100% absolute answer of truth, dead. No more. What's the point? Not even observing. Done. Job done. End of.